I don't recall the exact date, but it happened right here at Breath of Life. Several years ago, on a Sabbath afternoon, we had a guest speaker, who shall go nameless. And the title of the sermon was right there in the bulletin. There are times when you open up the bulletin and you don't see the title, but the title was right there. And I can't recall exactly what it said, but it had to do, or said something in the order that in order to be saved, you must be a Seventh-day Adventist. No, I remember seeing this, and I'm sitting right over there, and I'm raising my eyebrows. I'm looking at the bulletin. I'm saying, what is this about? And so I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a twist. That is just there for shock value. He's going to make it plain. You know how we like to say, we talk back to the ministers, make it plain, make it plain. And so I'm hoping and I'm praying that he's going to make it plain, and he didn't make it plain. He didn't make it plain. About 3/4 of his sermon, he was going on and saying something about you must be an Adventist to be saved. And it made me cringe. I was uncomfortable. It was disappointing. It was embarrassing. And then as he continued, he began to backpedal, and maybe he began to backpedal because he was looking at the consternation upon people's faces. And he began to say something like, no, I'm not saying that you have to be an Adventist to be saved. I said, okay. But he didn't make it clear as to why he was changing his tune. And after it was all said and done, right after the service, we elders, we dashed into the pastor's study. And we sat down and we looked at each other like we were in shock, like, this can't happen again. What happened? What happened? And then, I remember saying something like, I think I know where he was going, but he just didn't say it quite right. I think I know. And we kind of got together and said, no, this is not what the church teaches. We don't believe in that. That's just not true. And so we made a decision, and I believe Elder Cheatham did an excellent job of going before the church. I don't know if it was the following Sabbath or at a prayer meeting, but he went before the church and says, no, that's not what we teach. Seventh-day Adventists do not have a monopoly on salvation. There's no denomination that has a lock on salvation. No religious group has a lock on salvation. So we made that clear. We understood that. We understood it even going in. We just wanted to make it crystal clear. But there are some things, though, that we do need to understand that is built into that passage, that conversation that Jesus had with that Samaritan woman, because we can't get away from the fact that Jesus essentially told the Samaritan woman, in terms of your worship, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you worship. But we Jews know what we worship. That's what Jesus said. You can't get away from it. What you have to do is address it.